Don't think of it as a physical disease. Think of it as like hay fever. You know? You can't stop...
What a comparison.
You can't stop the seasons from changing. You know, if you're going to sneeze, you're going to sneeze. Get a tissue. Okay, welcome to our first video on our channel Living on the Borderline. I'm Connor.
I'm Rachel.
She is she and I am he. And we're just going to kind of do a quick breakdown Q&A kind of thing about what it's like to have borderline personality disorder, what it is, what it means, and sort of general standing in the mental disorder spectrum.
It's great, isn't it?
Those are words.
Yeah.
Okay, well, borderline personality disorder, if you're going to break it down, the borderline segment of it describes about how it borders on several different mental disorders. So you've got eating disorders, you've got schizophrenia, manic depression, PTSD, and a few others all swirled in there, which makes it any kind of clinical psychiatrist's nightmare, really. The personality part is to do with your struggle to find identity, to recognise who you are.
I have no control.
Yeah.
Over anything. Anything.
Yeah. Well, this is it.
Anything.
Anything. Well, the sort of that lack of control over moods and your emotions and sort of how it fluctuates can lead to, which is the same with a lot of disorders actually, can lead to that frustration, real frustration and sadness you've written there, which is true, sort of a melancholy feel. It's what is another significant thing about it is that it's supposed to be triggered. It's not one of those where you're born with it. You're not necessarily predisposed to it. It's
something is supposed to have happened.
Yeah, something
to make it.
Yeah, which sort of impairs development.
Yeah, they do kind of think that there might be genetic factors involved, but it's more to do with traumatic life events, stressful things.
Something has to happen.
Like abuse.
Abuse is in there. All kinds of abuse.
Family difficulties, including divorce, which was my trigger.
Yeah. I'll put that out there. That trigger is actually a term. It's not a meme. It's a real thing. It's actually a technical thing that psychiatrists will use to say it's either a defining event or something that can start an episode or whatever. I'm not an expert here, and I don't know how much research has actually been done into it.
There's a lot of people that have BPD that have gone through childhood with like abusive parents, or parents that have struggled with drug abuse.
Yeah, there seems
drug addiction and alcoholics and. You could just have a normal upbringing, and then something happens to.
Something happens.
Completely switch it.
You have, well, you know.
Which could be like a divorce.
Could be a divorce.
Losing a parent, losing a family member.
Could be an episode of abuse, or. I didn't know that. More women are diagnosed than men.
But that's more to do with the fact that women are more likely to go and get help than men. That's what it means. It's not that more people have BPD if you're women.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
It just means that, well, more women go and get help.
It's the opposite for autism and ADHD, though.
Well, that's more in men.
That's what I mean. It's the opposite. It's more blokes and boys who get diagnosed with it. So a diagnosis of BPD, for a start, is a nightmare. It's incredibly hard.
You need to have at least 5 symptoms, traits more than symptoms, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, exactly.
To be diagnosed, you need to have at least 5, which I fell into the category of.
Yeah.
So you feel overly worried about people in life that will abandon you, and you'll do anything and everything to prevent it from happening. Which I think for me has been triggered by my parents' divorce and my dad leaving. But then again,
yeah, you don't have to second guess yourself. You could well be. And then there's bouts of very, very intense emotions that can last for. It can be minutes. It can be hours.
It's another reason why they call it borderline, because it's on the border of bipolar.
Yeah.
And bipolar is well, you have your highs, and then it's quickly changing.
Yeah.
But with borderline, it's even quicker.
It is quicker. With
change.
With bipolar, it tends to be sort of days or weeks. Your moods will last. You have highs and lows. Whereas with borderline, like you were saying,
every day is different. Every day I can. But for me, for an example, I can wake up in an okay-ish mood and then have a trigger. Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating. We sat and we'll be doing something nice, and then one person says one word.
It could be one word.
And it can literally be one word, and I will just sit there just go, why did you have to use that word?
An example could be if we're at the pub with our friends and, I don't know, just talking about normal things.
And then
something can come, someone can make a joke, like people make jokes, like silly little jokes that could mean nothing, and it's not meant any harm to anyone. But for me,
it just reminds you of something, and then that's it. Then that's where we get the spiral. So yeah, there's a relation between feeling empty and numb a lot of the time, which you say happens.
It happens all the time.
It just happens all.
Yeah, it's got better now. I've got you, because you realise when it happens. It's this could also go on to dissociation. But
yeah.
When everything gets too much.
It's like enough. Shutters go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything just switches off. It's like a switch. It can just. It's like I have no emotions. Like 1 second, I'm feeling all the emotions created by just everything.
The hypothalamus.
Everything. I can feel everything.
Yeah.
And then within, I don't know, half an hour, it can go to, I feel nothing at all.
Yeah.
Like literally nothing. I just sit there and stare, and there's nothing going through my head.
Yeah, and it's not unhealthy to do that. It's just a sign that things have clearly gotten too much. I don't know. I think it's a defense thing.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It's, let's say about disassociation. It's the same.
Yeah.
You go in your own little world.
Yeah.
And it's triggered by something that happens. Like if you're going through a stressful situation, like I don't know, as an example, if you're in a lecture and you're getting shouted at for doing something wrong, if you've got BPD, you'll switch off and you'll go into a disassociation state.
Because it's too heavy.
Because it's just to some people it's nothing, but for someone with BPD, it can just trigger a dissociation episode and you're gone. It can disassociation could last 5 minutes, but it could also last a full day.
Yeah, you just kind of, the body goes onto autopilot in those cases, so.
And there's also fluctuating memories as well. Sometimes you don't remember. Sometimes I don't remember stuff that happens when I dissociate. Yeah,
that's true. Think of it, I suppose the best way to think about it is when you drive to and from work. See, people talk, you often get people going, do you know, I would have no memory of driving here today. So that's not really a surprise, it's you've gone into autopilot, but that's what happens, isn't it? It's because when you're feeling things so intensely, it's exhausting, it's like, running all day or running or climbing, or, it can almost be a physical toll. The mind needs a rest just as much as the body does.
Yep, and it's like a switch.
So going on to sort of the personality area, and this is where it starts to really, I think, define itself, because at this point, if you came to a GP or a psychiatrist with these symptoms,
you'd be diagnosed with depression, which is what happened to me.
Yeah, he's either going to say you've got depression, he might talk about, maybe you might have bipolar, But this is the part where we start talking about personality, which is you sort of don't have a strong sense of who you are, and it can alternate depending on who you're with, which can borders on another one, which is dissociative identity disorder.
Where you have loads of different personalities, or loads of different demeanours.
Yeah, you have an unstable personality, and it's all based off.
And some people go to Lens, but they call them names, like they have different names for the personalities. And
yeah, you went to a counsellor who tried to.
He tried to name me, name my personalities.
Yeah, name your personalities.
Yeah, but no, borderline is on the borderline of that.
Of that, yeah.
So you get the same kind of symptoms, but it's not as extreme, in a way.
I suppose so.
Instead of having different personalities all the time, like you can switch from one to the other, it's more of it's you adapt to who you're with, and then a different personality comes out depending on who you're with or what situation you're in, and it's not as obvious.
We'll need to. I'd say the difference might be that with dissociative, you know who those identities are, and you switch to them. Whereas with BPD, it's more due to.
It's another defense mechanism.
Or how impressionable.
Yeah.
Because
you're so scared that someone's not going to like you, or that you're going to say something wrong, or that you're not going to fit in. You change and you adapt to what you think that person would like the most.
Yeah. You just sort of adapt to it. I mean, that's you by definition, impulsivity, isn't it? One-click buy is dangerous to anybody, but it is particularly dangerous when you...
Impulse spending is horrendous for me.
Yeah, and it comes from a need for a dopamine hit, essentially, is what it is. It makes you feel good to know that you're going to get something, and Amazon knows that.
Amazon Prime even more.
Amazon Prime really knows that. And
it's not just that though. It's when I see things in the shop as well. Like if I've just been paid and I've got money, I know that I shouldn't use it. If I see something that I think, oh, that is me.
Yeah.
I need to get that right now because it might not be there, or I might not have the money for it again, or it'll be straight in the cart.
I suppose that's a fear of loss. It's a fear of not having something.
I need it. Yeah. I need it to make me happy. I need it right now. If I don't buy it right now, I'm going to be sad.
And it will be gone when it's. And I can't spare the thought of something being gone.
It's also with money. I don't have a bad sense of money as such.
No. Oh no, I wouldn't say that. Definitely not.
But when I'm impulsive, I try and wiggle my way around it sometimes. By using credit cards, which I've not done in a while, as such. The credit cards is a way I wiggle around it. I think where I can buy it now and then I'll pay it off when I get paid, and then I don't pay it off.
But as we all know, that stacks up.
Yeah.
And you can understand how some people with this disorder can really get themselves into some trouble.
I did.
You did, yeah.
I had 3 or 4 credit cards at once, and they were all maxed.
And you can understand how it all adds up.
And my credit score is now horrendous.
It's better now. It's better.
Yeah, but it's been badly affected by.
Yeah.
Initially by my BPD.
Definitely now. It's now that we know what it is, you look back at things and you go, no, this makes so much sense now. Why this has been happening.
Then there's alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs isn't a biggie for me. You don't think. I don't think before I do things. The thinking capacity shuts off.
Yeah.
When the impulse kicks in. So with alcohol, I could be getting ready for a night out and think to myself, right, I'm not going to drink too much tonight because 1, I can't afford it, and 2, I don't want to be ill tomorrow. I go out, and then because of the impulse kicks in, I just can't stop.
Yeah. So got that one hit. Need the next one, the next one, and again. But luckily they've actually been quite good for a while.
That's because we've not been out.
We've not been out, but even when we are out.
Dangerous driving as well, which I don't do now. But it's something I used to do. Because I've got 2 kids now, so I don't do it.
No, you don't do it, no.
I'd say I do it to a point when I'm on my own in a car. But when I first passed my test and I got my first car, I was...
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us can say that. I think, we've put it on the list, but I reckon that list could be long. I mean, it's things that could harm you, and this is things. But these are things which are based off a need for adrenaline and again that sort of dopamine, that rush, need for an immediate fix. I mean, why must we open? You're impatient.
Yeah.
You're extremely impatient.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it.
Mhm.
It's that I need it now.
Self-harm.
Yes. It happens. It happens. The thing about self-harm is someone from outside a relationship or who has never experienced it before properly sees it as a choice. As something you choose to do to
get attention.
The most common, it's. I think the times have moved on a little bit, but there was the idea that you do it to get attention. Anyone who and if you are doing it for attention, there's still probably something wrong,
Yep.
But there's in this case and in a lot of other cases, generally it's a need to. It's a need to feel. It's a need to
release.
Yeah.
De-stress. Just feel. In general.
You don't want to be someone who reaches out and just. You're not a knight in shining armor to come and reach out and tell them to stop. You've got to accept that it happens. It is their way of doing something, and you are there. You can be there if you can prevent it. If you can think of if you can help them get through it another way, that's brilliant.
Which you do regularly.
Well, thank you.
Sometimes without knowing it.
True. I do my best. But often the best thing, we're not onto giving advice yet, but just it happens. Just think of it as. You can think of it as a physical thing. Think of it as like hay fever. You can't stop.
What a comparison!
You can't stop the seasons from changing. If you're gonna sneeze, you're gonna sneeze. Get a tissue. While we're smiling, 1 in 10 people with BPD do take their own lives. Which is a hard thing to say. It is a hard thing to think about. I don't think it's something we want to talk about particularly today, but we'll just say, just put that one out there. It is a battle. It is one we are fighting every day.
Next, talking about the anger, because it is a big part of BPD, and I don't show it. That is the difference. I do get very angry, very angry, but instead of me lashing out or shouting or hitting things, throwing things, the normal, in the normal ways that anger is expressed, I just come in on myself.
Tend to get upset.
Yeah, and that's another thing that could lead to self-harm is if I'm stressed and really angry. But most of the time for me, it just leads to me breaking down, getting upset. I can't deal with anger. I do get angry.
Yeah.
A lot. I just can't deal with it.
Yeah, I suppose that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
There are times when I'll know that something has happened, and I'll see you again, and I'll know where things are going to go from there.
It's like a line of dominoes, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. Or rather, or a butterfly effect, as they say.
But no, for me, I don't get angry as such. It's an emotion that it overpowers me.
You don't explode with anger. You implode with anger.
Yeah, I take it out on myself.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Mm.
Especially if I'm angry at myself. That is mainly one of the reasons why I self-harm, is when I'm angry at myself. Or frustrated at myself. Then you go on to the more serious aspects of BPD, which is the paranoia and disassociation, which is why this is the reason why it borders with schizophrenia.
Yeah, that particularly paranoid schizophrenia, where and can involve delusions and sort of hearing and seeing things to an extent. But that's when you're under a great deal of pressure.
Or if things get too much.
Or things are too much.
Sometimes you don't know when it's coming. It could be like I've had a week of really bad BPD and like a really bad relapse, and by the end of the week, it just comes, the paranoia, which I do get but rarely.
The dissociation happens, and I think the
it happens daily.
Yeah.
But it for me, it lasts. If I say in an everyday sense, it lasts probably about a minute.
Yeah.
At a time. It could happen a few times a day, and I could it's like zoning out. I completely zone out. I can't hear anything. And in a way, I don't really see anything when it happens. I just kind of, my mind explodes and I see.
Takes a minute to put itself back together again.
Yes, but I do have times where I disassociate for a great deal of time, but it's not regular.
Yeah.
As such.
And I suppose how you could explain the paranoia is, all paranoia is sort of a real hyper awareness of what's going on, and it's that, they're talking about me. They're talking about
that's a big one for me. Is worrying about what people think of me or what people say about me. And there's a line between being anxious about it and have anxiety about what people think about you, and then there's the paranoia.
Yeah. Where you believe to an extent that it's the truth. It doesn't matter.
Oh, when I'm in it, I do believe it's the truth.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
And that's when, afterwards, I realise, when I've come out of it, that I wasn't thinking straight. And that's when I kick myself. And that's when I self-harm.
Yeah, it really is.
Why was I thinking like that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, another thing that the psychiatrist said to me today, is that moods and emotions are two completely different things. With moods, you can help with, medication can help with, but emotions cannot.
Right, okay.
He said, mood is something that happens in here, but an emotion is a reaction to something which you have to deal with yourself. Like, an emotion is love.
Yeah.
You can't take a pill to get rid of love.
Ah.
That's the example that he gave.
That's very good, actually. Yeah. Ah.
And we laughed. Could you imagine taking a pill to stop loving someone? Why would you even? Obviously, I suppose if you're trying to get over someone. But medication can help with moods, but you can't help emotions. That's where the psychological therapy comes from. Medication is mood, therapy is emotion.
Yeah, you got to teach yourself how to deal with it. So we've talked about the fear of abandonment. So how would you say? Where does that stem from? What does that do for you?
It's a multiple. There's a lot of things.
Okay. So where do you think?
I've written here that it like I said before, I think it was the abandonment side of it all comes from my parents' divorce.
Yeah.
And my dad is my hero, and he left and moved a great distance away, and I felt like I'd been abandoned. I still saw him and spoke to him all the time, but I was at a critical stage. I was just developing into a teenager.
You just moved to high school?
It was just before I moved to high school.
Just before, sorry.
Yeah. No, when my parents broke up and my dad moved, it was a long relationship, marriage, should I say? What was it, 12 years?
I wasn't there.
No, but my mum spoke about it.
Yeah, I think
it was about 12, 13 years that they were married and together, and they had me and two other boys that weren't my dad's. They were in a different...
From your mum's
previous relationship. There was a big family unit, and all of a sudden it just stopped.
Kind of helped each other out, but that was a heavy burden to bear.
Yeah, because it is.
Yeah.
And I was just going through, like, starting high school and boyfriends and all that stuff. I don't know, I didn't have enough support.
Yeah.
Whether it be from my family, friends, my school. I don't feel like I had any support.
That's not our dog. How do you think it affects you now?
See, the people that don't understand BPD or know much about it will probably think this is really selfish. Because that's what I feel about myself, is that I'm selfish. Because of feeling this way. But obviously I can't help how I feel.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel really selfish. Because I struggle a hell of a lot when he's not around. When you're not here. It's mainly because he's my support. You know, he's my only support. And if something happens, or the fear of something happening when he's not here, and I can't deal with it myself, it's like a runaway train. I can't, once the thoughts are there, I then open up and I dig more.
You end up digging yourself in a hole.
Yeah. The fear of cheating, which isn't a big thing, but it's there. It's not, I wouldn't say it's cheating. It's a fear of someone coming along and taking his fancy. I know that he won't. I know that he won't.
You're right.
But it's the fear of him seeing someone in a better light than me. Because I am very hard to love.
Oh, no, I would not say that at all.
Yeah, but it's true. Okay, I'm difficult to deal with. Mainly because of BPD.
You're not someone to be dealt with.
That's what it feels like to me.
And that's a feeling, but it is not the truth.
It goes along with the way I feel about my looks as well. That there's going to be someone that catches his eye more than me. Better body, better face, better everything.
Every time you said that, all I could see was you.
He's an empath.
I'm an empath. I'm very.
So am I, but he's more than me.
So I feel it an awful lot. I know when it's going on. I know what it's like, and I quite like it. It's one of the things that really draws me to you. Is those things.
How I feel. I feel everything.
How you feel the things so strongly.
Everything hits me like a bus, and he likes that, apparently.
You know, it just makes.
I know what you mean. You like you're drawn to the positive emotions.
Because there's a lot you can. There's a whole spectrum to it. Well, you know, that's talking about me. How does it affect you? Apart from a pain in the arse.
I still haven't been able to say it in my head how it affects me. It's that bad. I can't put it into words. I can explain what happens. I can't tell you how I feel about it.
Okay, he'll say what happens.
Well, it was like we said earlier. It's like the flick of a switch. I can be happy as such, doing something I'm enjoying, and there can be a trigger. Sometimes then there isn't a trigger, and it just switches. And most of the time, I'd probably say about 75% of the time there's a trigger, and it could be something really petty, really stupid, or something really big, and it can just change within seconds.
Yeah.
I can go from being happy to sad, and then I dig, so then I go from sad to depressed, and then from depressed to hella depressed. Is a nice way to put it. And I can't dig myself back out of that hole unless either he's with me and he helps me come back out, or I just I have to let it pass.
Yeah, and it does pass. It does always pass, but that doesn't make it any less wearing.
Yeah, as an example of a mood crash is so. Last weekend we went to Comic-Con in Manchester, and we had an amazing weekend. And we stayed in a hotel, we had a drive, we did a cruise, we had Comic-Con, we had all this meals, we had a meal out, and it was a really nice weekend, which my emotions were mainly
up there,
which is rare. It's very rare for it to happen because it's normally like that, but it was mostly up here, and if that happens to me, I'll have a mood crash.
Yeah.
Which, for a day, a few days, I can be miserable as hell. It's not because of what was happening is now stopped, so now I'm sad. It's what was happening that was making me really happy. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's weird to say that being happy is exhausting, because it is for me.
It is, yeah. It's a feeling, and when you're feeling, it's very intense. You know, at this point, I reckon a few people are going to be thinking, well, why don't you just stop being silly? And I'm not one of them, am I? Yeah, no. It's a nightmare, isn't it?
Just be happy. Yeah. Just think on the positive side.
It's like, why can't? How is nothing? How can that not be okay?
You've just had an amazing weekend. You've had such fun.
Yeah.
Now look at you.
And what I would say to those people is,
shut up.
Try writing a 4-page essay on anything every day, and tell me you aren't tired. And now imagine doing that constantly. You know. And you don't have a choice. It's a treadmill. You gotta go.
But the mood crashes are horrible. I'd say the mood crashes are probably worse than the actual fluctuation of my moods.
Yeah, I always like to make sure that if we do something nice, that I am around for those next few days for as long as I can be. Just because I know where it's gonna go.
On weekends that we have just us two, and I've had a high, and then if he's not here, that is when the mood crash happens. It will happen anyway, whether he's there or not.
Yeah.
But when he's not there, it's 30 times worse. Because you can't pull me back up.
You know.
We won't go on to triggers and trauma. Because this video is probably like 30 minutes long already.
So, the issues with identity, having no fixed identity.
I don't know who I am.
So what does that mean to you then?
I don't think what I see myself as is flawed. But you always say it's flawed. That's what I wanted you to talk about. Right,
okay, yeah. I think, well, it's because self-image isn't about how you look at all. It's to do with how what you think about yourself. And I think there is a distortion, there is a negative bias, which comes from everything you feel towards your emotions and your lack of control, and you're taking it out on your looks and your mannerisms. It's mainly, it is mainly the aesthetics. I mean, we had to restart the video because you weren't happy with with your face.
I'm still not happy with my face.
No.
It's better than it was.
I think a lot of us can safely say that we're not always happy with what we look like. But few,
no one, there's barely anyone that can say that they're.
I'm happy. I am happy. And I'm good looking, and I know that I am.
And everything about me is amazing.
Yeah.
There's a flaw. That you'll always find a flaw.
Yeah, but most people, you know. But fortunately, like with me, you know, I used to be very, very sensitive and conscious, and sort of hated it. And then I just sort of go, well, there's nothing I can really do about it, so it's not a problem. And I kind of dealt with it that way. But obviously, that's not so simple. When you know, I don't like the way I look. I think I'm too big. Blah blah blah. And then there's crying over it. You know.
Yeah.
And there's not leaving the house because of it.
And this is also where the eating disorder clashes. The borderline of.
Yeah.
Well, the eating disorders are actually a trait.
Yeah, it's one of the
BPD.
things.
It's you can have BPD and an eating disorder.
And anorexia, bulimia. Yeah, I mean, would you say that's where it kicks in for you?
I don't think I have an eating disorder, and I would say that. Because I don't think I do. I have traits.
Yeah.
I don't have an eating disorder.
No. And actually,
I have a lot of traits.
Yeah.
But it can all depend on my mood.
Yeah. You see, I think it. You know, there can be times where you'll talk about how you're not happy with your weight, as an example, but won't do anything about it. And then there'll be times where you will talk about it, and you won't eat for 4 days. You know, and that sort, and it fluctuates, isn't it?
Yeah. And once it's started, it's very hard to stop. Which a lot of people with eating disorders would agree with.
Absolutely.
But the difference between me and people that have eating disorders, with an eating disorder, it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and doesn't stop. With me, I can have the traits of eating disorders for a week.
Yeah.
And then I can have a week without those thoughts. They don't completely go.
Well,
I don't feel like I have to act on them, and that they don't control me. And then it come back again.
Yeah.
And it can last a few days. It can last a few weeks. I very rarely go a whole week without thinking or acting on it. Very rarely.
Very rarely, yeah.
That's why I don't think I have an eating disorder, because it's not constant.
Yeah. You won't not go somewhere. You know, if I said, I've got some money, let's go eating, you'll still say, you're more likely to say no because you're worried about going to a place where there's people rather than...
It's the anxiety.
Yeah, yeah.
When you first met me, you thought I had an eating disorder.
I did,
when we first got close.
Yeah.
Not when you first met me.
No, Jesus. Yeah, right, I was
4. 5 when we first met.
That's true, yes. Yes, I taught Rachel to swim underwater.
Saved my life even when I was 5.
Swim better.
Don't drown.
Okay. What were we talking about? Yes, because you were going through one of those. And actually, it was worse before we got together. I think.
Yeah.
It was
definitely.
worse. You know.
I've written here about having no goals. It's difficult to talk about because it's not the fact I don't have any goals. It's the fact that I can't see past tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to take it, like you say, you have to take every day as it comes. I can't look forward unless I'm in one of my really high moods, and I get obsessed with like getting married, or
when we talk about the girl's dad, he's saving up for a motorbike
to go on a road trip around Europe.
Yeah. So
which is a goal.
Which is a goal, which is great. So he's said, right, by this, I will get so many finances, and this is how most people can think. It's like, I will spend the next 3 years saving up X amount of money, and then I'll spend the next 3 month planning my route, X, Y, Z, bish bash bosh.
There's your goal.
There's your goal.
And then you do your goal.
Yeah. Whereas if we set a goal here, it's all words, really.
It is words.
Yeah. So like how much?
I completely just shut it off most of the time. And even when he says like something about next week, do you fancy doing this? I just, yeah, sure. I don't feel anything. I'll agree, as horrible as it sounds, to make him happy. But in my head, I don't agree. In my head, I don't feel the excitement that he's probably feeling about the thought of doing something, or having a goal together, or
until the day.
Yeah, until it happens. But how do I know it's going to happen?
I was going to say, you could tie that into the sort of that fear of abandonment. You don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say that could then lead to the no real career image, which is, well, when I was little, I always wanted to be a vet. From before I can remember. And as soon as I reached high school, when everything started, and all these shenanigans started developing, I lost complete love, and I have a real passion for animals, and that is as far as I can go. I can tell you that I want to work with animals, but I have no. There's having so many choices, which there's a lot of choices. There's having that, and then there's not knowing what I want, not knowing if I can do it. I mean, now with this BPD, it's ruled off my one thing that I wanted to do, which I don't know whether you've noticed, it's completely knocked me.
But sometimes, these things change.
I don't know. I can't imagine a career or a job that I can do, that I could adapt to, because of the way this is. It's how hard it is.
Well, this is the right now, and it is very hard.
This is when people say that disability isn't just what you see.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I could work.
No, I wouldn't want you to.
All I've done in my life is work in retail, and that's a dead end for most people. It's like a dead end job. You do it just for the money.
Yeah.
And that's all I've ever done. I had career goals, but it first started off with I actually wanted to be a dog handler in the police.
Yeah.
Which was then kicked down because of my asthma. I couldn't do that because of my asthma, because I wouldn't pass my physical. And then there's when the BPD comes into it, is the hours, the shifts, not just the dog handling, it was the RSPCA as well. And say if I wanted to be a zoologist, work in a zoo, or any job that's got a time stamp to it. You need to be here for 9. You're here for this, X amount of time, and then you leave. I can't see myself doing it.
No.
I struggle not working. Not because I'm not working, but I struggle when I'm not working alone. Just trying to live with myself as a job.
It is. It's hard for me to leave sometimes, because I'm worried you're going to need my help, It's a 2-person job, BPD.
It is.
Maybe 3.
That's why I've struggled for so long, because I've not had the help. And now I have.
Yeah, you got something. I'm not a professional.
You are in my eyes. You're my professional.
I'm your
my psychologist.
Yes, I'm one of those. Okay. Well, that's it then. So I suppose what I'd like to do, let's set some
We're setting a goal. We're setting a goal.
We're setting some
here
goals right
by
now.
thinking people are going to watch this video and actually comment. This is
the idea.
This is a goal.
This is our goal. So, I'd say, where do we want to take this from here? So, I'd like to do some videos about what it's like to be on the outside in.
From your point of view.
So, from my point of view.
And then I'd like to do some from my point of view.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and not to talk about you like a lab rat, but like.
But I am. Not to talk, you know. Oh God.
Yeah. And hopefully, I mean, a little ambition of mine. I'd like to do some videos on what to do if you are someone who's like. I mean, I'm not a carer, but if you are someone who's caring for someone,
I'd class you as a carer. I would class you as a carer. If this was physical, you'd be my carer. Why is it different because it's mental?
Well, I could do, but I need to be earning about a quarter of what I earn. But yeah, so yeah, I'd like to do a series of videos on maybe some tips on what to do if you are caring for someone who's got some kind of mental disorder, and we'll try and do some outside in.
We might do some daily vlogging.
Might do a little bit of daily
When
stuff.
I say daily, I don't mean every day. Like
yeah.
The odd day in the life.
Yeah. I would like to try and do some day in, day out, which you won't like, of the good days and the bad days. Because, you know, this is the problem, you know. Get someone with anxiety to go to an anxiety class.
Ironic enough is what I've got to try and do next week.
Yeah. We should have practiced our
Smash that like button. Subscribe. I am not one of those people.
No.
If you don't want to like the video, then don't like the video.
I only like it because Rachel's in it.
Oh, shut up.
I don't know if that was...
You're so cheesy.